Have you ever been completely disregarded or even ignored by somebody when you've been trying to communicate something really important? You may have experienced deflection. Stay tuned to hear more about this destructive coping mechanism and how you can best handle it if you ever experience it. Deflection is where something that is being communicated causes the person that is being communicated to become triggered. This person may not wish to experience and feel the feelings associated with that trigger, and therefore they're likely to do some of the following things. They could completely ignore you as if you didn't say anything and as if you don't exist. They may redirect what was being communicated to them back to the person communicating and saying, oh no, that's your fault or you're to blame. And finally, they may just blame somebody else and say, oh no, it was Frank or it was Maria. It's nothing to do with me. Essentially, this person wants to consciously divert attention away from themselves by either ignoring you, blaming you, or blaming somebody else for whatever it is that was being communicated in the first place. Let's go into some examples. So the first example, let's pretend for a moment, this is just hypothetical, that you're in a relationship with an emotionally abusive partner. Now, you may be in the middle of an argument. Whatever argument it happens to be, you may not even know why you're even in the argument. During this argument, they're putting you down, they're ridiculing you, they're pointing the blame at you. And in response to that, you stand up for yourself, you get angry, you might raise your voice, you might say, no, that's incorrect, or whatever it is, but you display anger. The deflector, the person that's chosen to deflect, will then believe and tell themselves and other people that they are the ones in an abusive relationship because you have responded in anger. This person, upon reflection, if they did any, would not likely take any responsibility for what was originally said, the original accusations, belittling, put-downs, and just focus squarely on your reaction. And in this case, it was anger. Another example, so let's pretend again that you're in a relationship with an emotionally destructive partner. They come home from work on one afternoon and they start telling you about their day at work. And you're listening and trying your best to take on what they're saying and hear them and empathise. And then you might make a relatively normal comment. This comment, for whatever reason, can be taken by the other person really seriously, and they can look at that comment as being a criticism, and then they come back at you and say, hey, that was ill-intentioned, you obviously were trying to hurt me with that comment, and they will carry this on into an argument. So this normal comment that you made will be turned into an argument, and they will make sure that you know that you were really just trying to criticize them, really just trying to have ill intentions towards them when you weren't in the first place. In summary, deflection is an unwillingness to be authentic with oneself, because to be authentic with oneself would require feeling feelings like shame, guilt, feeling negative feelings that you've done something wrong and you have to sit with those. And this is something that a deflector will go to extreme lengths to avoid. If you are experiencing deflection from a friend, a co-worker, perhaps in a current relationship, it's going to be very, very difficult to engage with this person on a fair, reasonable, and sometimes even on an intellectual basis, because they're stuck in an emotional sort of bubble that they do not want popped. They do not want anything negative. They do not want to feel any shame, any guilt, any responsibility. They just want to stay in that nice, secure bubble. And you better not burst it. Therefore, the solution lies in recognizing that this person has obviously been very hurt, perhaps has some open emotional wounds, and intellect, rationale, reasonableness, fairness, all these things are not going to apply. And if we can recognize that when dealing with a deflector, it's going to help us possibly not react, even though that's easier said than done. On the flip side, if you feel that you may be deflecting, and we've probably done it at some stage in our life, possible solution for the deflector is, rather than deflect, to reflect. To sit in the feeling of not being a good person. To sit with the fact that we're made of light and dark. To sit with the fact that we're going to need to experience negative, uncomfortable emotions every now and then. It's a very courageous task, but usually these negative emotions will pass a lot quicker than deflecting and putting all this energy into resisting what's being communicated to you. And in doing this, the deflector may be able to stop shifting blame to other people or ignoring other people's communication, and thereby increasing that communication, improving relationships, and generally just having a better time here on this planet. If you got something out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't get anything out of it, give it a thumbs down. In the meantime, I ask that you keep well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.